Red 2 standing by, all 4 lit and in the green. Welcome back to Metroid Prime. Interesting to note, if you do leave Samus alone for a while, she does have some fancy little idle animations. But we're not too fussed about that. So last time we beat the Hive Mecha, we recovered our missile launcher, and we're making our way back through various parts of the Chozo ruins to proceed to find the next bit of equipment we're missing. If we're a good shot, then we can destroy the War Wasp Hive. We don't get a scan for it. Ruined War Wasp Hive. War Wasps are resourceful insects. The destruction of a hive will not deter the survivors from rebuilding a new home. Surviving War Wasps will defend new sites with their lives until the hive is complete. But it's a nice bit of information. Now, if we're careful, we can look around and head down to the lower parts of the area. Stick our landing, and let's shoot those blast caps, because over here, this wall, Brimstone and Radion can be destroyed by the missile launcher. There we go. Stick that landing. And as I said, we don't get a scan for the missile expansions, but we now have a maximum capacity of 10 missiles. There is a save spot in this room too, which I'm not going to worry about. There's also a tunnel for the morph ball, but we'll open up this room and put it on the map. Oh wait, I thought this was a save room. Initially, I thought this was a save room when I came here, but it is actually the map station. Whoops! So this gives us a degree of navigation for the Chozo ruins. The save station is just over there. So we'll be able to see that we can travel off this way to a place we may not be able to access very quickly. A few other locations around the place. So, there's quite an extensive range of locations. Obviously, there was quite a lot of work done on the Chozo ruins. They build very well. Let's head out, and we'll be able to proceed to the next area. We can open up the save room back in the area ahead. We'll have to deal with more scarabs. Try and shoot them down as quickly as possible. Not leaving any missile expansions for us. Missile pickups, sorry. We'll be able to scan missile pickups that give us 5 and 10. Now there's... Good, that's gonna keep them off our back for the time being. If we go up here, that's our save station. And we can leave the area. Now, if you really want, you can head back to Talon 4. I wonder what happens if we shoot these with missiles. No, they just close. So, there's usually pretty good instructive level design when it comes to Metroid games. This is one of the most important things to remember. They'll generally teach you something about what you're doing. When you get a new item, there will generally be a bit of an opportunity to use it. So we've seen what the missiles can do, because we'll naturally want to explore the blast shielded door right in front of us. But of course, there's still a bit more exploration we do need to undertake. More of them? Well, they're nothing if not persistent. So that is a pretty important part of Metroid games, being able to work out how to use your items without the game really going in depth to telling you. There's a lot of information if you need it in Metroid Prime. If you will allow me to show you. So our pause screen will give us all the information on our inventory. So as a quick demonstration, our power beam. The default arm cannon has the best rate of fire. Press C up to select power beam as your active weapon. So we have our suits, the power suit and energy tank. Information is filled in as we go. The power suit is an advanced Chozo exoskeleton modified for use by Samus Aran. The power suit provides life support functions and is well shielded from attack. The modular nature of the power suit allows for the addition of weapons, visors and other gear as needed. The power suit shielding loses energy with each hit. Collect energy when possible to keep the shielding charged. So we'll find out about our visors. We've also got our combat visor and scan visor, and secondary items, our missile launcher. We'll find plenty more bits and pieces along the way. Probably should have shot the door and then picked that up. Metroid games, especially Super Metroid, they were very good at showing off what you could do with all your new items and how best to use them. If you think to use your new items when you get them, you would have a significant advantage because you'd be able to grab plenty of goodies. And that's always been a strong point in the Metroid games. They're very good, for the most part, they're very good at showing you what to do, not just telling you. There will be basic instructions in some games. There are little tutorials along the way, but we also get bits of information from old instruction manuals, depending on the game, or we might wind up getting a range of different little bits and bobs just by playing, really. Anyhow, enough rambling from me. Over here we can see that this is the morph ball, but we can't just waltz up and get it. That bit of stone is conveniently too high for us to jump over. So get yourself back up against a wall so you can see all your enemies. And don't forget to strafe. We'll be facing an absolute wave of these things, but they're not too tough to take down, so long as you make sure to grab all your energy. Take some time to space things out and shoot them down. Now we move on to the big bad boss of this area. Well, it's a mini boss anyway, with a very fancy cutscene, in which we don't appear for some reason. Dodge those attacks! The plated beetle, well-armoured burrowing insect, vulnerable only in the rear abdomen. Creature's thick cranial plating can repel frontal attacks. This gives it an advantage in combat, allowing it to make ramming attacks, only surfacing when it detects vibrations above. It then maneuvers itself so as to always face its rival, keeping its exposed abdomen protected. So lock on, and shoot it in the back. We're basically having to kick its ass. Literally. So you see how the beam shots just bounce off normally. Wait for it to come at us. Watch for the tell. And eventually we'll bring it down. Whoa. That's odd. I should have jumped to the side. I obviously just jumped right over it. And there we are. Splat. That is one bug bashed. And the morph ball is ours. Assuming I stick the landing. Let's rock and or roll. So we'll be able to get the most plunder out of the area once we have acquired the morph ball bombs. We'll have to come back here because sandstone is blocking our path. Morph ball bombs destroy sandstone. And that's a nice little functional touch. Simple light sources. If you see a half pipe, like the one up here, you will know that's a different pickup, the boost ball, which I believe makes its first appearance in this game. There was a speed booster that appears in Super Metroid and Zero Mission and Metroid Fusion, in all fairness. We are not running into our swarms of scarabs. That's kind of strange. But we are going to run into plenty of beetles who are probably mad that we've bashed their brethren. Oh well, we'll let that one be. Oh well, I suppose if it is a beetle, bringing up Let It Be is probably fairly appropriate. I've been desperately trying to avoid making any Beatles-related puns because they're just too obvious. Now, if you want, you will notice some birds flying up in the sky. You can shoot at them if you like. These cannot be scanned, and there is no reward for killing them. You basically just get to twirl your moustache and be evil for a little bit. Now, when we're moving off to this area, make sure to snipe war wasp hives from a distance because the blasted things are irritating to deal with. They're really picky. But if you pay attention to your radar at the top of your screen, you'll have no trouble dealing with them. I'm not very keen on various insects and the like in real life. I don't mind butterflies and moths so long as they're not sort of in surprise locations. And I will admit that I'm not particularly keen on spiders despite the fact I come from Australia and our spiders... Well, probably the fact I am from Australia should explain why I'm not that keen on spiders because ours tend to have health bars. So, we can't go through here, but we can roll through here. Just in time to face more scarabs. No more embedded in the floor. Another swarm, I think. We do get some pretty funky lighting when we're using the morph ball. Okay, so in this room, there's a small selection of plasmites. There's a path that leads... If we take this path, the one that's off to our left as we're facing now, that will lead to a superheated room. Don't go in there. You cannot handle high temperatures without the Varia suit. It is very interesting to note that in the game we do not talk about, you do have to go into a superheated area with the Varia suit and nearly get yourself killed. Amusingly enough, in Metroid Fusion, which by the way I did actually play before this, Metroid Prime and Metroid Fusion were released on the same day as a matter of fact. Whoops. In Metroid Fusion, you are told by somebody named after your commander in the one we don't talk about, that you shouldn't go into superheated areas because you'll take damage. Anyway, Chozo lore. It's exposition time. Our sanctuary grows by the day. We Chozo know much of technology, but we do not worship it. Boy, do I feel that! Our home here on Talon 4 will be a place of simplicity. Structures hewn from the stone, bridges woven with branches, hallways caressed by pure waters. We build around the ancient and noble trees, drawing from their strength and giving them our own in return. All that is wild will flow around us here. Our race will be just one more group of creatures in the knit of nature. It is our hope that such a state will bring with it great wisdom and a greater understanding of the nature of the universe. Now those are some sensible sentimentalities. We need to head over this way because we can't handle that hot path just yet. If we go through here, we can get our scanner sorted out and analyze shriek bats. They are territorial ceiling dwellers. Body temperature peaks at 121 degrees centigrade. Shriek bats have high internal temperature, making them easy to spot with thermal imaging. They roost on cave ceilings while hunting for small prey. Fiercely territorial, they dive bomb anything that wanders near. Fortunately, we can take them out pretty easily. They're aggressive, they'll attack us as soon as possible. But by being a capable shot, we can deal with them. Now, into the Arboretum. And we can scan the Reaper Vine, a powerful rock-dwelling tentacle. A single eye upon the Reaper Vine keeps a constant vigil, but its vision is limited to 10 meters. A scythe-like appendage on its tip is honed to lethal sharpness. The Reaper Vine will swing this blade wildly at anything that enters its zone of perception. Shoot it in the eye to make it retract. However, it will pop back out later. In this room, there are several runic symbols that we can attempt to scan. However, we do not need to scan them just yet. What we should do instead, and I can do this with the benefit of, well, actual comprehension and knowing what to do. By the way, one of them is behind us on the tree. So, something like that. What we can do is head over to this missile-guarded door down here. This is an important location for us. So, let's head on down, making sure to target the Reaper Vines that will pop out ahead of us. Now, you will see that there is some technological evidence. The Chozo do have pretty sophisticated equipment. Wait. I'm stuck. Did I wind up going back? Yes, I did. Somehow I got myself stuck on... What did I get myself stuck on? Ah, this room. Right, we can go this way for another save station, if we want to top up our energy. This was the first time save stations had topped up our energy, but there were usually recharge rooms near them in let's see. Yep, let's get our scan. This is the missile ammunition that gives us 5 rounds. So, we don't want to head over that way. Now, we can come this way to get the charge beam. It's through that door down there, but I'm going to do things a little differently, because there's a pickup we can get in the room with the charge beam. So, we're going to take a bit of caution, pick off the shriek bats, and jump up here. Now, unfortunately, the footage is lost, but amusingly, when I wound up trying to do this the first time, I rolled all the way up there, out of the morph ball tunnel, and I fell off. I'm not very good at jumping. Speaking of jumping, if you have the space jump boots, you can double jump up there. So, we won't be able to get our charge beam, but we can at least pick off everything that's in our way. So, come through here and be very careful, because otherwise we're going to fall off. You also can't get up there without a double jump. Quick switching of targets will allow you to defeat... How? Oh. Don't say anything. Alright, well, so, more ions we can deal with by quickly shooting them and moving on. Now, we have a bit of a puzzle to solve in this room. We have shriek bats to hunt down. But one of the most important things we must do is scan this. This is probably the best opportunity you have to get it. This is a lock system. Secure the area to unlock the door. Now, we can't do very much if we go over the other side. We can gun down some shriek bats, but that's about it. Because as you'll see, poisonous water is filling the hall. There's nothing we can do. We can keep moving on and hunting down more shriek bats. Kind of like a version of Zubat that will self-destruct, really. Nobody knows exactly why they seem to self-destruct when they crash. But this thing, which looks like Buboicula, a creature which can be seen outside Jabba's palace somewhat briefly in Return of the Jedi, is the Stone Toad. Preys on creatures smaller than itself, which is usually a good idea. Vulnerable only from within. A stone toad is able to remain still for days. It preys upon creatures smaller than itself, inhaling them whole. Anything it finds undigestible, it regurgitates. Stone toads use their tusks as a last resort in combat, so it can't get past this guy. If we go near him in the morph ball, we'll get eaten up. So seriously, don't do that. Go through here instead. You might note, though, that now that we've gone down here, we can't get back because we can't jump in the morph ball. We usually can't. And the room is, of course, too small for us to turn back into Samus and jump, then use the morph ball in the air. Instead, we will have to head through this door, which we shall do in the next episode. Thank you very much for joining me. Until next time, this is Red 2, returning to base.